In today's video, we're doing a full update on how my beautiful koi fish are going, plus how the guppy breeding program is going in my pot pond. So let's go. But if you're new to my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on that bell so that you're notified when I'm uploading new videos. And a massive thank you, as always, to all of my supporters and subscribers. It means the absolute world, so thank you. Right, let's get back home and check out how they're going. All right, so first of all, the koi pond. Now, they have been super skittish from the beginning. So I've been trying to get them used to me being around and associating that with, you know, getting some food. So every time I come out the front, I feed them. You know, while I'm at it, I will go and get algae out of the water or anything like that so that they get used to my hand being in the water is a good thing and, you know, not something to be threatened of. So I try to do this daily or as much as possible. So this response here, where they're right there, at the beginning, they would all be hiding behind here. So that's a huge improvement from when I first got them, because they used to just hide all the time. So now they're at least feeling comfortable with being out and about while my hands are in the tank and while I'm around. So taking a look at the fish, we've got Swedish Chef with the orange on its head. We've got Baba Gump underneath him, you can't really see. And then we've got Mr. Nibbles, which is the biggest one, the tricoloured one. And then lastly, the black and white one. In my previous video, asked for some name suggestions and I was going to choose my favourite. So clay-wise, I've decided to go with your suggestion of Shamu for the black and white fish. And over here we have Bigsy, who is just super duper fast and really hard to get a video of. But yeah, all in all, the fish are doing really well. They're eating great, and I think they've grown a little bit. I reckon they've grown a bit. The biggest thing has been the hair algae that I've been getting in here recently. It has been coming over and clogging up the pump a bit, so I just go in and make sure I'm clearing that up regularly so it doesn't get too clogged up. So whenever I'm doing stuff in the pond, I always make sure there's food in there so they know it's a good thing when I'm around. So yeah, all the plants are growing really nicely over here. Over the last month, it's grown quite nicely. I've got some Australian natives growing either side of it, so I think it goes really nicely with the natives. We'll have a look under here and see how the filter's going. I might give the sponges a little rinse out, but I haven't cleaned it since setting up the pond, so we'll have a quick look and see how it's going. So for those of you who watched my first video on how I set this all up, this is just a simple spillway that I bought online. So that's all looking pretty good. Got a bit of hair algae growing in here. So I might get a bit of that out. So I popped these rocks on because I had an issue when I first set it up that the water, you know, because I've got sponge under here, if there was nothing to hold it down, the sponges started to rise and the water started spilling out and, you know, obviously drained half the pond because it was all coming out the side here. So I popped some of these rocks on just to hold down the sponge, and it's done the trick. I haven't had any issues with it overflowing since I've done that. So in here, I've just got some really basic filter sponge. So I'm just going to grab a bit of pond water. And just give the sponge a rinse out. And you always use water from your pond or your aquarium, because if you use fresh water, you can kill off any of that good, live, beneficial bacteria that you want to keep in your tank. So just give that a bit of a rinse out. Another little one here. So just to show you, I don't actually have any rocks or anything in there, it's just the sponges I've got in this one. So pop that one down the bottom, because the water in this spillway comes out through the bottom, so it's going to push up through the sponges. And we're going to pop our rocks back on to keep that. See how it starts to rise up? I'll show you what I mean. So if it's got nothing to hold it down, it eventually, the sponge, you know, cuts off the waterfall, and then the water eventually starts to spill over here. So we will push that down. Can't remember how I put these on, but we'll just do this. now we've got some awesome water to water our plants with. And now I just top it up with some RO water. So yeah, I absolutely love this little pond, and just a disclaimer for those of you who might have missed my first video, I am having an upgrade done for my koi fish, so this is in no way, if anyone is wanting to do something like this is in no way big enough pond to house koi long term. But yeah, I've only had them a month and they will be getting an upgrade in the next couple of months, and I cannot wait to share that with you guys. It's going to be great. But yeah, I'll leave the link up here for anyone that wants to go and check out that video. I show you exactly how I pop this all together and all the bits of equipment I use to set up this pond. But next up, my guppy breeding pot pond that I made. Alright, here is my guppy breeding pond. So I have made a video, I'll leave the link up here, on how I turned this just an ordinary pot. It had holes in the bottom. I've made a video on how I turned this into a watertight container that I can now house my beautiful guppies in. So I'm absolutely obsessed with these, and I want to set up like another 7. It's just, I absolutely love it. I have since added in a heater, as you can see it right here, as it's coming into winter time here. So what I've done is all of my male guppies, I'm keeping them inside as they're generally more beautiful with their colorings and everything like that. So I have all my males in there, and I have just my females and the one male, and that's the one male that I'm wanting to, you know, breed his traits a lot more. So once the babies grow up a little bit more in here, I make sure I take out the males. As soon as I notice that there's a male, I'm taking it out and popping it into the inside tank and just keeping females in here. So they're all going to be breeding with that male. And as I get future generations, I might change up the male that I'm breeding. But yeah, this is basically just my females, and I'll selectively pop a male in there that I want to breed and for all the babies to be. So I'll quickly show you the beautiful male that I've got in here. So I feel like the lighting is not doing it justice at all. But it's kind of a pinky, purpley, bluey sort of colour. I think he's absolutely gorgeous. He was one of the fry from one of my original girls. So I don't know who she bred with, but I love it. So I am going to be breeding him with all of my females just to see what sort of, I just love that look. So we'll see what we end up with. So here's all my females. I've got some large blue ones. A lot of these guys are still very young. So as you can see, I've got a few babies there. So it'll be interesting to see what the fry start to look like, as he's the only male in there. So hopefully we should get more guppies that look like him. Yeah, super simple and basic. I've just popped the heater in recently. So other than that, all we've got is a bit of sponge in here for the beneficial bacteria to grow on. Very, very simple sort of setup. Look at that little one. I honestly could never get tired of doing this. Something about breeding guppies, I bred them as a kid and it just never gets old. Never ever gets old. So the babies I've got now, it'll be interesting to see what they end up looking like. I've always wondered, I don't know if anyone actually knows the answer to this, but how soon after adding in a new male, you know how females, you know, if they've always been in the presence of a male, they're pretty much always pregnant. I wonder how soon or how quickly it takes for the new male that's entered into the tank for the babies to turn out like that new male. If they're already pregnant, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But yeah, I always find it so exciting to see, you know, what your babies are going to end up looking like. I'm really trying to avoid any deformities or anything like that as much as possible. So yeah, might end up having to add those 7 more pots to house all the babies, or I'll just give them away. But yeah, that's one of the most exciting things, is seeing what these little babies will end up looking like. Well, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, if you're new, to subscribe, and we will see you next time.